Just internet. I'm going to try and do PowerPoint and internet, so it's sure to fail. So the technology people like to just, try and crash everything. That's our, I'm going to cover a couple things today. It's the big reveal is a little bit down the road. So I thought I'd share some analytics and content background about MPG Ranch, because very rarely do I get to see everybody in the same room to pass this on. I wanted to show just some highlights of the new MPG North site. And then if I still have time, I wanted to talk just super briefly about some content workflow stuff. Here's some quick analytics on the MPG Ranch site. Over the last 12 months, we've had 31,504 visitors to the site. Out of those, unique visitors is 12,860. Pages per visit is 5.26 pages. I don't know how you see 0.26 pages, but it's the average. The average visit duration is 4 minutes and 35 seconds. That's double what the average is across the internet. So that's really good, surprisingly. The average site visit time is about 2 minutes and 42 seconds. So people spend time on our site, and that's including a 40% bounce rate. And what a bounce rate is when somebody goes to the site and they thought, oh, I thought I was looking up miles per gallon. This has nothing to do with miles per gallon, and they go away. So our returning visitors is roughly 60%, and year on year we're up. We've more than we've almost tripled our visitors as opposed to last year. So who's looking at our site? The top 7 traffic locations are Missoula, Denver, Chicago, Hamilton, Bozeman, LeGrand, and Seattle. We also, Tehran, somebody in Tehran visited us 13 times, Kiev, Brisbane. We get hits from all over the world. I don't know what, but they keep on coming back. So that's good. The takeaway from this stuff is that the two things that you want in a site is you want a sticky site. You want people, when they get to your site, to stay there. And we have a sticky site. We have twice as sticky a site as your average website. Our traffic is growing steadily, and it's growing really well. And people outside of the region are discovering MPG. And when they find out about us, they're likely to come back and check it out. Why are they doing this? And this is where my hat's off to all you. It's because we have a ton of great content. And these are just some brief content stats about the ranch site. We have over 2,000 pages of field notes. There are over 700 photos, 350 species videos, 150 update videos, 100 blog posts from 10 bloggers, 1,300 pages of research, and that doesn't include links to over 200 papers, published papers, 150 papers that we just linked to PDFs.
From our authors?
Yes.
Really? I don't know.
It was a lot. And then 7,300 Buckeye photos is what's in the galleries now, and we actually decreased that. There used to be over 10,000 Buckeye photos. Number one thing about websites is content. Content is king. If you're not producing content, people don't come back to your site. So we're producing a lot of content, and people seem interested in it. How to getting the ranch site live go? Well, that dog biscuit is kind of the ranch website. We didn't necessarily have an easy time. When we ran a site audit on the site about this time last year, we were getting D's and F's for site speed, for a lot of coding problems. So we took those lessons learned and are going to apply them to building the north site. And this is where I want to segue into the north site. Some of you folks know that I do some property management and house remodeling, and this is my remodel philosophy. You can pick any two between fast, cheap, and good. You can get it fast and cheap, but it's not likely to be good. You can get it cheap and good, but you're not likely to get it fast. Or you can get it good and fast, but it's not going to be cheap. So with the ranch site, with what we ended up with, we didn't end up with any of them. We didn't get it fast, it wasn't cheap, and what we got wasn't good. We're pretty happy now. We've worked out a lot of bugs. It hasn't been easy, but the site, looking at it from the outside, it's a pretty darn nice site. People compliment us on it regularly. So the north site, we're taking away some lessons learned from this. The goals that we took away from the ranch is we want absolute control of the back end of the site. We don't want any middleman. We don't want to be calling up the website guy. We want to be able to add, remove, change stuff up as we see fit. We want it programmed in an open source code that's actively being used and is robust and is industry standard. We wanted better site performance. We wanted to work with a local or regional development partner that we could have a meeting with, sit face to face and get to know and develop a partnership with. We wanted to try and future-proof the site, and we wanted to be a little bit cost-conscious on it. So here's where I'm going to give you guys a little caveat. Just as in when you guys get deep into the science, sometimes you lose me. I'm going to do my best not to get too technical in the web world and lose you, because I understand what that's like when people start talking jargon and you don't understand what they're saying. So our solutions are the open source coding is we decided to go with Drupal. There are 3 premier open source languages in web coding: Drupal, WordPress, and Joomla. Drupal's a great one. For performance, we're hosting our videos and our photos on Amazon and Vimeo, so they're not actually hosted on the site server. They're hosted somewhere else, and then the site makes requests. So it loads. You don't have to, if you think about trying to upload websites like to deal in kilobytes, and we like to produce videos in gigabytes. So it's a lot easier for the site to handle stuff if it's hosted remotely. We got it coded in a responsive design, and I'll show that on the site in just a little bit, the development site. Field notes, this is where the PDF viewer and compressor is a good, field notes is a really great place to talk about this. We've had a pretty wonky workaround on the ranch site to show people field notes. They're actually converted to images, and then I go back in and kind of write what the image is showing. So for the north site, we've embedded Google's best PDF viewer technology along with another step where we compress the PDF. So for example, all the 2012 North field notes in their full-size versions was like 600 megabytes. Compressed, and they're 30 megabytes. And then with the viewer, each one ends up being about 15 kilobytes. And you can't see any difference in resolution. You could in an IMAX theater if you showed it on an IMAX screen, but you can't, even on the top Mac displays, you can't see any difference. We're working with a Missoula developer, and we're going to host it internally. We're actually hosting the website at the co-location site that Nick talked about earlier today. So this is, we wanted some visual continuity with the north. Multimedia is all going to be cats. That cat photo. So I wanted to show, the main thing to take away from this is I wanted to try and show the responsive design. And this is kind of cutting edge stuff. So, sorry about the size. This thing is sized really weird. So, does anybody have any idea when the first iPad came out? It was 2010. So as you can imagine, web viewing has changed a lot since then. There's a 10-inch iPad, there's a 7-inch iPad, there's people are looking at stuff on their phone. You used to have one size of window that you would look at, and it was 720 by 480. Now, all these different screen sizes, we can't know what the next screen size is going to be. So what we're doing is we're making this coding that as whether or not you're looking at it on a phone, an iPad, the next device that's coming in, it'll shrink. If you see it drops all the nav bar up there, stays together. And it essentially becomes skinny, and things naturally migrate down. So you have this optimized view, no matter what device you're looking at. So,
Not this view.
yeah, this is.
That's the projector, right?
Yeah, this is the projector.
Actually zoom that web viewer during this talk, so if you like command minus it, you might be able to.
Yeah, so if you look at it here, as it shrinks down, things kind of move. So you've always got this good view of, you always see all the content. And then eventually when you get to phone, all the text remains visible. So as if you go to the ranch site and you shrink it on a phone, you can't read the text because it's tiny. So we'll get back to this. So this is an example of the PDF viewer, which will be different than this is one view of the PDF viewer. That'll be different on the north. This is the interactive habitat map. We changed up the map a little bit from the ranch. It's got a high resolution base map that you can click on and off. You can click on and off the habitat zones. They give you habitat zone descriptions. Something that I'd like to try and do with the ranch site is that there's a button on that you can click that gives you location names. And this is something that I'm not sure all of our viewers necessarily know where the north center pivot is, or we talk about it a lot, but it'd be great for us to be able to, this has, if somebody wants to know where home pond is, because we're talking about it, you can actually see where it is. There's a field guide there of these, there were 56 really pretty nicely written and detailed field guides with a bunch of photos. So we've attached that onto the site. And this is just kind of you can't really see it, but the back end has, as new technologies are brought online for web publishing, we can just implement modules and as opposed to having to do a whole site redesign. So those are kind of the big pluses on the north site. Our future directions, or our future directions, we're really shooting to get the ranch site up to 5,000 visitors a month. We're going to try and up our link outs and link ins, which helps with our search engine optimization for the site. We'll get the north site live here. After the north site goes live, I like to run a code and speed audit just to make sure that we got a good product. After 6 months of beta testing and tweaking, if we really like this site and we like what it can do for us, we might move the ranch site to this type of, now that we've already built the back end, it would be easy to migrate the ranch site. So just super quick content stuff. This is the new lounge at the MPG headquarters for all the content creators. It's off the lab. They'll show you where the door is. I really appreciate everybody who produces content. I wouldn't have a job and we wouldn't have a great site if you guys weren't doing it. This is the MPG Editors Lounge, and this is where I give you a little plug. If you have any interest in making your writing better or learning how to be a better editor, we're always looking for folks to help with our editing. As we produce more, we end up with more content. You guys are doing a great job. We had 90 pages of content come through a couple weeks ago. It's a lot of content. There's only a couple folks that are doing it, and people are gone and whatnot. So, and we're keeping a high bar with our content. So I appreciate everybody that keeps an eye on it and everybody who works hard on killing those passive verbs. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.